I'm your host Cherish, and you just heard by the intro, this is What is Wednesday. We are at episode 19. So at the end of this video, I will be asking you guys the question for you guys to do as many answers as you possibly can. For those of you that don't know or have any clue how this works, be sure and go and check out my What is Wednesday updates, the first update that I posted. It'll be in this iCard as well as the playlist for What is Wednesday for those of you that are new subscribers to the channel. And also, if you are new, make sure that you hit the subscribe button so you can join our family. We are the Winchester family. You also will want to turn on your notification bell so you know every time I upload a new video. And you also are going to want to go down into the social medias. The links for my social medias are down there in the description box. And without further ado, let me get into these what is. So we don't have a whole lot this week, which is, I guess, kind of a good. So the first one comes from a friend on Twitter, and he says, "Why is it so hard to get people to understand what," and this is in quotations, "those of us who suffer from depression, anxiety, or even, yes, asthma," end quotation, "people with medical conditions go through every day, and not always can we just pray away our problems. If only it were that easy. I am a person who suffers from so many unfixable conditions. And when I talked to a family member a couple weeks ago, they said, and I quote, 'You can't be sad if you trust in God, and you can't do both. You can't be a sad person and still trust that God has your back.' End of quote. But what people don't seem to understand is my depression is a chemical imbalance in my brain, and I have had a doctor who tested me and diagnosed me say that, and has been treating me heavily with meds. So yeah, God can fix things, but chemical imbalances, yeah, anyone else know what I mean. I've never been diagnosed with the depression that I suffer from, but I do kind of understand where he's coming from. But I can totally understand, and I have had people tell me, you can't be depressed if you trust God. And that's, I don't normally do anything religious or political on my channel. But that was something that I felt like really needed to be addressed, just because there are other people out there who may be suffering from the same problems and are getting the same answers. Just pray and you'll be fine. And it's like, okay, don't you think if it was that easy, I would have already been fixed by now? Don't you think I've been up to this point doing that? Next one comes from a friend on Instagram, and she says, "What is the difference between an adult and acting like an adult? My 7-year-old wants more responsibility, but everything I have let him do is age appropriate for him. I try to allow some things that I would let my 12-year-old nephew do, but my 12-year-old nephew acts more like a child than my son does. But then I look at my best friend's 3-year-old, who is so bratty," and I know that sounds so mean to say, but my best friend has called her daughter a effing brat to her face, which is so mean. But I do see her kid do things that when my son was 3, he got a whipping for. But hey, not my kid, not my method. But my nephew always whines that he is grown up and should be treated grown up, but acts like a 3-year-old, whereas my 7-year-old wants to be treated like a teenager and not a child. So yes, I don't know what is the best thing to do and how to go about this." So I totally understand where she's coming from. It is hard to know what is the best, way to do this, but I don't know. I guess for me, when we were talking about it, I said to her, I was like, well, give him more responsibilities in the house. Let him do the dishes without you watching. Tell him he can start helping with his own laundry. Start him on folding his laundry. She was saying, some of the things he does is he is in charge of the bathroom in their downstairs area, and he, not mops, but he sweeps up all the trash, and he takes out the trash to the side yard. So he does some things, and he's like, I want to be able to do more. And it's so cool that, when little people like that are wanting to do more things to help you in your house. Like, I think that is so cute. So the next one comes from a friend on Instagram. He says, why don't people want to listen to the rules or the store's rules? Do they not want us to be able to go back to some type of normal? I want to send my children to school, but if parents can't behave themselves, how in the world will children be any better? I have 4 children who need to be in a school, but our area says it won't open as long as cases keep going up as high as they are. We, in 1 week, can go from 15 cases to 50 in just 1 week. This is sad, y'all. I'm stressing out, and my marriage can't hold its shape when our kids are just as unhappy as we are. So, yeah. It's very true when he said about, how are kids going to behave any better than kids. One is from my friend, and it's the last one. It's from my friend on Twitter, and she says, why is it that since lockdown, my sleep has been worse than ever? I literally fall asleep at 3 a.m. and wake up at 5 p.m. Like, what the deuce? Why am I sleeping over 12 hours? Like, what is going on? I literally called my doctor and was like, dude, what is this? Why is this happening to me? I mean, I do a super ton of busy things all day. When lockdown started, I would fall asleep at 12 a.m. and wake up like 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. Not too bad, 6.5 or 5 hours. Not too bad, 6 hours or 5 hours. It's good. My doc told me to try and fall asleep around 10 p.m. or 11 p.m. and I can still wake up at 5 or 6 if I choose to. Because a few more hours would be ideal, but 3 a.m. to 5 p.m., what? And before lockdown, I was going to sleep at 7 or 8 p.m. and wake up at 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. So I was kind of doing more than 12 hours, but since lockdown, I was like, oh, I can do so much more stuff in the day if I go to sleep later, but now I question my life choices, and the doc told me that I need to do way more during the day to tire myself out so I can fall asleep better. But I talked with him over 6 weeks ago, and still nothing. So anyone got any ideas? I'm all ... I was going to say ears, but actually I can't. I have to say I'm all eyes. But anyways, so that was all I had for you guys today in this What Is. So now we are on to the question. So just to touch bases smally, if any of you guys are familiar sort of, but are still kind of like, huh? So basically I'm going to ask you guys this question that I have written down. I asked you guys on the 9s, which is, 19, 29, 39, all the way up to 99. And then once I reach the 100th episode, I will probably take like maybe a week or 2 off. And then we'll be starting a second season. So after every 100th episode, I'm going to make a new season. People are asking me if I'm doing that. Is something going to change? I might make it where instead of 1 question on all the 9s, I ask you 2. It just depends on what you guys' preferences are. So let's ask the question, and I'm going to make sure, I don't know if I did this for the 9, but I think I typed it in the description box. I might do that again. So I always give you guys the question, and then I usually will answer with one of my answers or how I would answer it, just as like an example answer. But it is totally up to you guys. Also, I did want to let you guys know you can answer it anywhere you want. Just don't submit the same answer on other platforms. So if you submit on Facebook and Twitter, make sure it's different answers to the question. And no, you don't have to add the question into it. Just your answer is great. And no, you don't have to hashtag it What is Wednesday. You don't have to do anything like that. You just have to make sure you tag me at somehow you tag me in it. You can also, just in the comment section of this video, I wouldn't say do it on any other video. The closing of it this week is going to be Sunday night. Monday morning is probably the last. I might make it Monday is the last. Yes, you can still be submitting what is at the same time. So if you want to submit your what is, do make sure that if you're submitting, in the comment section or somewhere else, that you do submit your answers with numbers. That way I can easily just make sure I write down how many numbers you have answered. And then I will look at them, obviously, and pick out my favorite ones. I always do my favorite 10 ones. The 10 favorites will be read at the end of the video next week. But the 3 winners will be announced at the beginning of the video. If you guys are lost, you probably should go watch the updates. Also, go watch episode 9 and 10 so you can understand how that worked. But, yeah, that is basically what I want you to do. So do submit if you guys are submitting what is as well as your answers. Submit your answers with a number and just your what is regularly. You don't have to put a number next to it. So that way I can collect all of it and be ready by Wednesday to film 20. So the question is, what is one thing being on lockdown has taught you, good or bad? So again, what is one thing being on lockdown has taught you, good or bad, or bad? So you can answer, what are all the good things that it's taught you? What are all the bad things that it's taught you? You can submit whatever your answer is. Just basically say it's taught, lockdown has taught me this, and then just go with it that way. So mine was, lockdown has taught me never take advantage of the little things. So you guys can use that answer. I don't mind. I have said that before when I did 9. It's okay if you decide to use that answer, but I do still want you guys coming up with your own answers. So anything that lockdown has taught you, be it, have a calmer head, or something bad, like, living with my significant other is a mistake. Whatever it is. So that is the question for you guys to answer. So you can submit as many answers as you want. How that works. So submit as many as you can in as many factions as you can. You don't have to go on Twitter, on Facebook, and Instagram. You can just do it here as many times as you want. Make sure you number it. If you're submitting on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, make sure you are numbering it there. If you don't know how on my Instagram that you should be submitting it, you can just find my last picture uploaded, whatever picture is the last one uploaded, and you can put all your answers there, making sure you still are numbering it. Twitter, you just have to tweet me, and you can, I don't care if you guys tweet me 40 times, submit 40 and you're tweeting me 40 times. Because of the fact that, for Twitter, you can only put a certain amount of words in there. That is why I was like, yeah, just tweet me as many times as you want. You don't have to put no hashtags, nothing like that. You just basically have to submit your answer with a number, and that's it. And then basically I scheme through. So Sunday night I'll be skimming through to see how many numbers each person is at. And I'm keeping it in a tally. So the same book that I have the questions in, I keep a tally of what each person is submitting. And then on the phone, I basically have a document on my phone that is keeping track of who you are. And I will be saying who you are, who you winners are, in the beginning of the video. So I'm very, very excited for that. I hope you guys are just excited and pumped for this challenge. That's kind of the only challenge, if you will, that I do on this channel, is challenge you guys against yourselves. Basically, it's what can you answer? They're harmless little questions to answer. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys are excited to win. If you don't know what your prizes are, the updates video, most recent, I would go and look at, because there were a couple changes from the first updates for what is to this past updates. I believe I uploaded it last week, so you may want to go check that out. But yeah, that is all I have for you guys today, and I will see you all next week.